Hello everyone. We are back at TISS campus. We are sitting at at this place near library, and this is one of the schools of TISS. And we'll be talking to first year HR students today. And I'll start with brief introduction of yours, please.
Hello everybody, my name is Medhavi. I am a recent political science graduate from SGTB Khalsa College DU, and I graduated in 2023, so I'm a complete fresher and I came here directly from college.
Hi guys, my name is Sohail Kaul. I graduated in 2021 in computer science, and post that I worked for about 2 years before coming to TISS.
Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh. I have graduated from St. Xavier's College, Kolkata in 2022, post which I have taken the CAT examination following 2 years with percentiles naming 99.4 and 99.61, and now here I am in TISS.
Hi everybody, I'm Suvasika. I graduated with a psychology honors degree in 2022 from Indraprastha College for Women, University of Delhi, and after 1 year of gap year I came here.
I would like to start with when you first came to TISS, you must be having certain picture of TISS in your mind. I mean, ki college aisa hoga, those kind of things. You must have heard it from us, from alumni, through social media. What was your first impression, and has that impression changed over 1 year? Kya raha? I mean, just an open-ended thing, just whatever comes to your mind about TISS, first thing.
For me, when I was coming to TISS, I came from a background where I was preparing for CAT for a while, and then I had the expectations of a typical B school when I was coming here. But when I came to the campus, I realized it's much more than that. As in, TISS goes way beyond how a traditional B school will actually do. So here, you will learn a lot from other courses and you will build a lot of perspective, which I certainly believe is not the case with other B schools sometimes. So here you have various courses from other backgrounds like applied psychology, women's studies, and social work. So these courses kind of help you to build an understanding and an perspective towards the world, which I feel is kind of lacking in other colleges.
So for me, it was just the opposite. Since I have a humanities background, I hoped that this college would be more social science centric. And even though HR is a corporate focused course, I was hoping that there would be some elements of social sciences here. And I definitely did see that in the initial days, and I still see that, because we have exposure to other courses, we have exposure to classes from other courses, we can take other subjects courses during our CBCS, and so I definitely really enjoy that. So rather than this being a very typical B school program where you just study management, we have elements of social sciences and labor relations that I certainly enjoy a lot.
Anything from Calcutta to TISS Mumbai?
So the bonding is really great. People are really helpful and cordial. Being it as a social sciences institute, we also get both the perspectives of corporate as well as the social sciences, which also helps us to, get the pedagogy that we, actually the curriculum that we have. It is well nourished with a blend of both corporate and social sciences. As we know, a few of the USPs of TISS comes also the fieldworks. So this is one of the reasons why I came to TISS, because I also, as being a fresher, I wanted to get some corporate insights even before going to the actual corporate world. So this is what I have expected, and it's coming very good.
Just like Medhavi, I also expected some elements of social science to be present here. And when I came here, I realized I was right in assuming that, because it forms an amalgamation of both management and the social sciences. And it gives you a more nuanced perspective on a lot of things. And before coming here, my expectation was that since a lot of people with WorkX are going to be present in the program, so I expected them to be a little offhandish in their manner, and their experience to overshadow their relationship with probably like freshers. They wouldn't have as cordial relationships as I might have expected, but that did not turn out to be true at all. Everybody is very helpful, and even like we have so much like the plethora of experience that people have here. It's so enriching to see and to learn from them. We have people with WorkX of 8 years, and then here we are like complete freshers. So it's actually the learning curve is very steep.
And coming to the classroom experience, I'm sure the batch, it's one of the largest batches of all the programs in TISS. Again, one of the oldest courses. How does the diversity thing inside the classroom, and what's that classroom experience like? I mean, hota kya hai usme classroom? Is it just teachers teaching, professor log aa rahe hain, padha rahe hain, or something more happening and action kind of thing.
So one thing that I really appreciate about classes here is that how interactive the classes are. One of our professors says that he believes in the Socratic method of teaching, and I clearly see that being reflected in the way he teaches, and ultimately what we take away from those classes. And secondly, how collaborative the classes are. So it's never just the teacher telling us things and us absorbing it. We have to show that we've learned this through continuous evaluation techniques. So it's not just that we have one final exam at the end of the semester. We have surprise quizzes, we have case study assignments, we have presentations where we have to collaborate with people from all over the batch. So it's not like we can choose and pick who we want to form groups from. So we learn from our teachers, we learn from our peers, we learn from the subject material that is given to us. And so overall, I think the way of teaching here is really fascinating to me.
Also, I'd like to add to whatever Medhavi has said, that one of the great things about being a student here is that you also have pre-reads. So sometimes you'll have cases from HBR and a lot of case studies you'll have, and you have to come prepared with the pre-reads before the classroom has even started, and then you'll be like having discussions on it, and that really adds to your learning experiences.
One thing I remember, I mean, just a funny incident. In our college time, it used to be complete case studies during MBA. So, I mean, we used to get a case book and RJ case hoga, that's it. The professor used to insult all of us when we used to analyze the case. And, over a period of time, that insult became the most happening thing. Ki kaun zyada insult hoga. I mean, that insult became the funny thing. There used to be competition ki jitna main insult ho sakta hu, koi nahi ho sakta. It used to be like that, actually. So, it became a fun thing, and it became one of the most, I would say, learning point of view, so this became the best thing that could happen. Anything like that, something, just ho jaye wo, nothing planned, anything.
So one thing that was different from my expectation of the classroom pedagogies, and so certainly, like they mentioned, case study is definitely one thing. So we get recommended HBR articles and case studies, and then the collaborative method of teaching. So during UG, all of the assignments that we had were done in silos, were done in isolation. But here, as soon as we came here, a lot of groups would be formed for different courses, different papers, and those groups would not remain constant. So you got to interact with a different bunch of people. And then in addition to that, I think, like I mentioned, people are in their different life stages. So the diversity of thought that comes into play while learning from each other is exponential, because the diversity is not just surface level when it comes to gender or age, but that really reflects in the deep level diversity in how people think and what perspectives they bring to a solution to a case.
So there are two POVs that I would like to add. First of all, our course has the most number of people in the campus. Turnaround, our course has the least number of people in any B school in the country. So there are two perspectives to it. So addressing the first perspective is that the class is so well knit and so close together that we are very free to give presentations. Actually, when we came into TISS, we are actually afraid that we had to present something, but the class gives you that confidence when you go to the stage and then you present. So that thing is there. Apart from that, I would like to say, as all of my friends have mentioned, the combined pedagogy that you derive from all the courses together. If you see our curriculum, we also have the rural immersion. There is one, TISS also has this rural campus in Tuljapur. So we actually have a practicum course where we have to go to the campus and then spend 1 week or so, do some activities, take our learnings from there. So these are all the things that that I felt TISS has given me all this in my first year. So
TISS is kind of a unique college across India in terms of the kind of actual intellectual diversity that it offers, the kind of programs, and HR being some program very unique to it's different from the other programs. It's not entirely a social science kind of a thing. It's more suited towards corporates. Most of the hiring also happens in the corporates. So how does that that mix work? It's very I would say intriguing question in a lot of people's minds.
So one thing I've noticed here is that if you want to remain in silos and only interact with people from HR, then you would feel like okay, the program is very different. But if you interact with people from other courses, then you do see that strain of similarity throughout all the courses, and that there is some element of social sciences and there is some element of human touch to it. So for example, our course is not just HRM, it's HRM and LR. So we have that component of labor relations in our course as well. So coming to interacting with other courses, when you talk to someone from say applied psychology or someone from social work, you do see that somewhere there is an overlap in the curriculum, but at the same time, where there is not, there is an opportunity to learn. So having engaging conversations with them, engaging in discourses with them is something that us as TISS students have the opportunity to do. And I feel like all of us acknowledge that and all of us take advantage of that.
I would like to add just one little thing. So we also have a component of dissertation in our curriculum. So for dissertation, you can pick up a topic that lies outside the realm of HRM. And so I think there are 2 people in our batch who have sought the help of a faculty who is from another department. So I think this also adds a lot of character to the program, because we have the liberty of choosing other domains and other disciplines when it comes to our dissertation. So I think also being provided this freedom is also I cherish here.
One thing I would like to add is that, as my friends have mentioned, so TISS, the program of HRM&LR, is a Venn diagram between management course and a social sciences. So it produces, or rather I would say the people who graduate from TISS HRM&LR are empathetic HRs. So this is one thing that I would like to add, that the component of social sciences and the functioning in your conscience, what you have in the corporate, similarly aligning with the components of social sciences also, and you apply your management skills also. So this is one thing that I feel that TISS produces and has been successful through the years.
Also, another thing is that like TISS started out as a social science institute. So keeping like in the same vein, our program also attempts to retain that element of social sciences, of the rich heritage of our institute with which it began. So I think it has continued to and very successfully maintained that element of the social sciences in also how the professors talk about it. So this idea gets hammered into our brains by the time we graduate, that we need to keep into account and keep in mind the element of humanities, and it's not just like a very purebred management program.
One more thing, which is fieldwork. A lot of people find it very interesting कि fieldwork में क्या होता है. So your thoughts on that?
So for us, we actually have like 6 internships in total for HRM&LR. So we do these internships in about a span of 7 months, 4 of which are fieldworks. So these fieldworks we have to do every semester with the organization, in which we get to learn a lot about the practicalities of HR. So whatever learnings we've had in the classroom, we get an opportunity to apply them into real business problems. So for example, we have our first fieldwork in the month of October, and then we have another fieldwork in the next semester just before our summer internships start. So this gives an edge to us when we go into our summer internships as well, because we have had experiences of dealing with HR projects twice before going to our summers. And these as we get to like kind of apply our learnings in these projects, so we like kind of have an edge in summers as we can perform better with those problems.
Especially as a fresher and as someone who had never stepped inside an office before, I felt like having 2 fieldworks has really given me the confidence to say that I know how a business works, I know how an organization works, and I know how an industry works. So for example, my first fieldwork was in a pharma company in a plant. So I don't think anywhere else I would have gotten the opportunity to intern at a plant in the first semester. But here I got to do that, and I got to understand the dynamics of diversity and labor relations on a very ground level. My second fieldwork was in an FMCG company. And so understanding firstly different industries, understanding how a business works, understanding how you're supposed to conduct yourself in an office, and how you're supposed to apply the things that you're studying in college. It's not just on paper, it's something that has real life implications. It's something that fieldwork offers. And I think that this becomes a very interesting and important learning for me when I go to my summers, because I have 2 very detailed and very important experiences that I can refer back to.
And one more thing, I think, when you do many fieldworks, in the first fieldwork, you might not feel that confident or comfortable. It also, I think, builds on as you do, next project, next fieldwork, those kind of things. So
I would like to elaborate more on how the fieldwork curriculum actually operates in TISS. When I was coming to my course, so I knew that fieldwork is a part of our curriculum, but I was not actually aware of it. When I came to TISS, I got to know that you are placed for 1 month into a reputed organization, can be anywhere within India, mostly in Mumbai. So for 1 month, you go there. You get a project. After the project completion, you have a guide through and through for 1 month, and after that you do your presentations. So for 4 semesters, you have 4 fieldworks, 1 SIP, that is your summer internship, that is the standard procedure of any MBA college, and after that you have your NGO stint. So after the 4th sem. So in fieldworks, we go to the organizations, we get the projects. The major learning of a fieldwork is that once you get a project in your first fieldwork, you make a lot of mistakes. For me as a fresher, when I went, as Medhavi has already said, so it was also for me, it was my first time that when I'm stepping into an organization to know the organization dynamics, how hierarchy works and everything. So in my second fieldwork, when I went for my second fieldwork, the mistakes made by me were very less. So for an MBA student, as we all know, that when you go for your summer internships, the margin of error becomes really very low because there are a lot of stakes which come into it. So fieldwork actually helps us to give a statement that we have been there, done it before. So that is one thing that I really cherish about fieldworks in TISS.
I would definitely want to reiterate the point these guys, Medhavi and Rajesh, have put forward, that like you really get to break into your shoes before your summers where the stakes are high. So definitely that. But also I believe that it's incredible that like as your program draws to a close, when you get done with it, you end up getting exposure to 5 different industries, if I am to count our summer internship as well, to realize how to understand businesses of 5 different organizations is like humongous learning. And also realizing how like something like how a soap is made, to how for example in like things, the operations go at in the hospitality industry. So understanding like something so minuscule and also understanding the business that is so large scale. So this variance and this diversity in learning is what I find incredible about fieldworks.
Adding on to that, you also realize where your interests lie. So when I was placed in that pharma company, both Suvasik and I were there together, and we were of the opinion that we did not have any interest in pharmaceuticals. It's so technical. It's not us. But as the fieldwork drew to a close, we realized that this is something that is very interesting and we are interested in. So you also get to realize where your strengths, your weaknesses, and your interests lie. So getting exposure to 5 industries can give you an idea where you would eventually want to be placed in the future after the course comes to an end.
For the preparation for the interview bit, I would recommend first you need to know your profile very well. So for example, if you're a fresher, then you need to be very well versed with your undergrad program of study. So for example, if you graduated in engineering, then you really need to know all the concepts for it, because you will be interviewed based on that. And if you're a work experience guy, then a lot of your questions will be from your work experience. So try to research the topics that can kind of correlate to HR with your current job, and try to be well versed with it as well as your current role. Be very precise about what your roles and responsibilities are at your role, and what all activities you perform, and in those kind of functions that you do, what's the level of expertise required, and have an in-depth knowledge about it. The second thing you have to be very prepared about is the behavioral aspect of the interview. I feel like for TIS especially, the behavioral aspect matters a lot, because a lot of questions that you'll have will be behavioral questions. So for example, questions like what are your strengths, some defining moments of your life, some very hard task that you had to do and then how you overcame it. So questions like these, because when you reflect upon these kinds of questions, it really helps you to understand what kind of person you are. And these are the questions that even the professors that are going to be interviewing you will use to gauge the person you are, or if you are a good fit for this course. So so you have to be very well versed with these two at the very basic level. And then coming on to HR and on how to prepare specifically for the HR kind of the bit of the interview. So for the most people, they won't like go into a lot of detail about HR. They don't expect you to know a lot about HR, but basic things you must be very well versed with. For example, a little bit about organizational behavior, some basic theories, and some things about labor codes and some basic labor laws, the Industrial Relations Act and Industrial Disputes Act. Those kinds of things you need to be a bit well versed about.
One thing I would like to draw attention to is the fact that you get to decide how your interview progresses. That is, you submit a DAF before your interview actually is. So in that DAF, you mention a bio sketch of yourself and why you want to choose HRM. Now, this is very important because for my interview, a lot of questions were directly from the DAF itself. So you have to create your life story and present it in a way that people find interesting and people can ask questions from. Secondly, you have to be very clear about your life decisions and your life journey. Why you chose to do something, what learnings you got out of it, are things that are very often asked. So specifically for someone who's taken a gap year or someone who's changed their streams or someone who's switched jobs, these questions are very important. So it's not that this will become a disadvantage for you, but it's just that you have to be very clear about why you did it. And if you show conviction and you show courage in that decision, then the interviewers will not really take this as like a red flag or anything. Thirdly, this clarity of thought and clarity of decision making should also come to the answer when you answer why HRM or why TISS. So it should not be just like a very sharp break from your journey or whatever you had been doing till now. There should be a very strong reason and a very specific reason why you chose to do HRM. And so for that, you have to introspect, you have to think about why you actually want to do this course. And your reason should sound genuine because these professors that sit in the panel have been taking interviews for multiple years, for decades. So you cannot really pretend in front of them. You cannot faff. So you have to be earnest and you have to be honest in your answers. And when they see that, when they see honesty, when they see the willingness to learn. So it's not like you have to know the answer to every question, but you show the willingness to learn, you show curiosity. All of these things are something that they look at.
I would like to bring a different perspective to it. A person like me who has given interviews of IMA, IMC, LK, IS and the new IMs and also TISS. So I can actually differentiate how an interview goes on for TISS versus how an interview goes on for other B schools. TISS wants you to be aware of what is going on around you through and through. Like, so as my friend Sohail has already told that you have to be aware of the HR, HR theories and everything. Also, for me, it was being asked, what is glass ceiling? This is a normal B school question. But for a TISS perspective, how can you address this problem in an organization is a TISS question, right? So you have to have the broader perspective to any problem that you see. For that, what I would be recommending from my end is that go through the newspapers and be aware with all the trends that are recently happening in the world. The ETHR, that is the Economic Times HR World, is a very good source to go through all the HR trends that are happening right now. Apart from that, if you can go through the news off late and daily, and not on a regular basis, not on a stringent basis, of course, but then I would really like you all to go through the news through and through daily as just overview it and go through the trends of HR and also have a global perspective towards whatever is happening. Suppose if there is a chip shortage during the pandemic, then why it is happening and how does it affect India? How does the PLI scheme comes into being in India? So that is one thing you have to really take into consideration. Apart from that, I feel that the professors who will be taking your interview will be making you very comfortable in the interview. You did not panic a lot, unlike other B schools where the tension scenario is there inside the room, So be absolutely relaxed during your interview. You all will do well. All the best.
What I would recommend is having some examples ready for these behavioral questions that Suhail mentioned. Because during my interview, whenever I would state like for example, a strength or a weakness or a challenge that I faced. So the immediate next knee-jerk question that they would ask is state an example, cite an example. So I think having examples ready, and also some of these commonly asked questions, you could already have some idea of how to structure that answer and maybe even practice it once or twice, because it helps you gain fluency while answering, certainly. And also, since I had a psychology background, so a lot of my interviews centered around organization behavior and OB, which was also the reason why I chose this program. So be very thorough with the concepts you have learned, especially for a fresher, because it becomes very obvious that you'll be asked questions about your undergrad. So knowing the concepts very well is very important, because these panelists, the interview panelists, these guys have gone through your profile very like in detail, and they know what questions they're going to ask, what the answer to that question is. So be thorough with that. But I think mostly everybody has covered the rest of the tips.
So I would personally concur with that. If there is any personal question or behavioral question, I mean, the question is not complete without giving an example. I mean, if you give an example, you don't need to say much. Okay, that's how it goes. And if you can give examples, live examples of your personal situations that you have experienced, they're fan of such answers. It's like that. Okay, so definitely prepare answers with examples. That goes a long way. And so here we come to the end of this discussion, and it's been such a pleasure that these people, these friends of ours, they've shared their personal experiences, and I hope these insights will be really helpful for people who aspire to come, or they're confused, or they're yet to make a decision about TISS, the courses, specific courses within TISS, and how to prepare for those kind of things. Really, I mean, a big thanks to all these people. Thank you. So to all the aspirants, best of luck from our side and from these people.
Best of luck, guys.
Best of luck, guys.